You are listening to Penne Pyro, Book 2 of the Jade Sommer Series, written by Nicolette Pierce. Copyright 2021. Audio copyright 2025 by Pierced Heart Publishing. Digitally narrated with full cast of voices. Chapter 7. The sun filtered through my sea-foam green curtains, rudely waking me. The thin fabric curtains were another courtesy of Mila and the bane of my existence. Having a room facing east while the sun blasted through the material was harsh for anyone who worked late into the night. Still, I couldn't complain. It was a gift, and they were pretty as long as you like the sun burning your eyes. But there was something different about this morning. Not the curtains. It was the feet that rested on the pillow next to me. Long feet that had a sprinkling of hair on the toes and nails that were in desperate need of a pedicure. Following those feet down to hairy ankles, I found the rest of the body was tucked under the covers. My covers. I wondered if I was still dreaming. I had to be. There was no man in my life that would be in my bed. I briefly thought of Logan, which annoyed me. He was taken. Off the market. In love with someone else. That was not a pleasant thought to wake up to. I flipped back the covers to find legs covered in jeans. I dug farther down to find a face. "Kobe!" I swatted him. "What the hell are you doing in my bed?" He blinked awake with a groan.
The couch is hard. It's like sleeping on a rock.
"So you snuck into my bed? You know how weird that is, right?"
I'm sleeping on the top sheet, and I'm facing opposite of you. It's not like we spooned.
My stomach somersaulted and I pushed him out of bed. He tumbled down with a thud.
By the way, you snore.
He said from the floor. "I don't snore." Okay, so I snore. But I wasn't in the mood to discuss my sinus passages with the stowaway.
Sensitive.
He muttered as he stood.
Don't worry. I'll find somewhere else to sleep tonight.
Good. He glanced at my door.
Maybe Mila?
She's infatuated with Ross.
Why? I mean, I like Ross. He's family. But she's so fun and has a bit of a free spirit to her. A little mystery, too. Why Ross? He's sensible and stuff.
Opposites attract, I said. What do you mean she's mysterious?
Not like anything sinister, but she doesn't talk about her family or where she's originally from. She'll only tell me from about the time she started working with you until now.
Huh. I guess I never pried into her life to know if she did or didn't answer questions about her past. While we worked together, there wasn't much time, plus she was my assistant. There were lines that I hadn't wanted to cross. And then we were so focused on getting the restaurant opened that I just didn't think too much about her origins. Maybe she was sensitive to her past, or maybe she just didn't want to answer Kobe's questions. I figured the latter was more likely. Kobe stretched, scratched his bottom, and proceeded to the bathroom. I grimaced at the pillow where his feet had rested. Looked like a trip down to the basement laundry would be a necessity today. I checked my phone to see the time and noticed there was a notification. Someone had responded to the review I had posted. Glancing at the name of the responder, I frowned and opened the app.
You obviously don't know what good food is. It's not simply tossed on a plate and dropped off at a dingy table for someone to shove down their throat. Food is art for the eyes, the tongue, and the soul. And Mr. Lee's dumplings was none of those. Between the pasty dumplings to the cloying overuse of seasonings, it was a dismal affair. Since this looks like your first post, you might not understand the first rule of this community. Art above loyalty. Until next time, Gershwin V.
I stared at the post, feeling the heat of outrage lick up my neck and infect my brain with fury. How dare he? My post was genuine. I didn't lie or try to snub him. It was an honest opinion. Annoyed, I tossed my phone onto the bed. My first reaction was to reply, saying he could stick his snobbishness into an area that his swollen head would never fit. But instead, I walked away. I had to cool down and think rationally. It would do me no good to get into a heated debate with a troll. Still, I ached to reply with a scathing retort. And maybe I would, but not before coffee. Heading out of my room, I made a straight line for the kitchen. Well, kind of a straight line. I had to hop over Kobe's shoes, which made me take a last-minute swerve as I didn't expect an obstacle in the middle of the hallway. Then, I found the coffee maker and saw that it was already magically brewing a dark roast that smelled like pure ecstasy. Mila knew her coffee, and I was the happy connoisseur. I took a mug out of the cupboard and waited patiently for the coffee to finish dripping. As the last few drops fell, Kobe walked into the kitchen. His hair was wet. Without the styling gel to keep it sky high, it was wild, as if he shook the water out of this hair like a dog after a bath. He grabbed my mug and poured coffee for himself. That was mine.
I'm company.
Company who has overstayed his welcome.
You'll feel differently when we tape this morning. I have a feeling you'll like what Aston and I have planned for you.
I have a feeling that without coffee, I'll refuse to do whatever cockamamie thing you dreamt up. He opened the cupboard and grabbed a mug. He poured coffee and handed it to me.
Better?
Better.
So, do you want to hear the details?
No. Just tell me where I need to be and what time. I have a few things I want to do before my shift.
Be at the park at 11.
I'll be there. How much does it pay?
Is it always about money with you?
When I'm broke and required to do something probably highly embarrassing, yes.
It will be the standard 100 plus a $100 bonus if you win.
Please tell me it's not another eating competition. My stomach is still sore. I don't know if I'll ever be able to eat Mom's cannoli again. And you know how much I love her cannoli.
It won't be food.
He took a sip of his coffee and then placed the mostly filled mug on the counter.
I'm heading out. See you later.
I spent the next half hour on my laptop, looking to see if there were any reports on the fire at Mr. Lee's. I wanted to text Lily to see how she was, but it was still a little too early to disturb her after what had to be a restless night worrying about the fate of their restaurant. Most of the news footage I found showed the outside of the building with either a plume of smoke or a shot of the emergency crew. But they didn't give many details other than the time and location. No speculation yet on the cause. That was the official news anyway. But as I got further down into the search, there were plenty of people who had something to say about the restaurant fires that were becoming a daily occurrence. In fact, some thought it was the work of the company that had long resided in Chicago since the days of Al Capone. Maybe these restaurants owed the company money. There were also those who thought it was a competitor burning down the competition. Some thought it was an angry past employee. But the one that caught my attention was the theory that the now dubbed Penne Pyro was the work of an online reviewer. My immediate thoughts went to Gershwin V. He was enough of a food snob to want to burn down Mr. Lee's dumplings. But would he actually do it? It made me want to go back to the site and see what other reviews he had left. Maybe there would be a link between the fires and his reviews. I made a mental note to do that sometime during the day, but I needed a level head when looking at the food snob's reviews, which meant time and probably alcohol. Mila shuffled out of her room. Her hair was matted on one side and her eyes were puffy. "Morning," I said. "You look like you had a fitful sleep."
"Coffee,"
she mumbled as she slowly meandered to the kitchen. When she was at the coffee machine, she glanced down at the mostly filled mug sitting next to it. "Kobe's leftovers," I said. With a small shrug of indifference, she took the cup and brought it to the table. With a sigh, she sat down across from me. I eyed her, thinking back to what Kobe had said about her mysteriousness. "I can pour you a fresh cup." You don't have to drink Kobe's leftovers. She waved off the offer.
No, it's fine.
I gave a nod. If she wanted Kobe's cooties, that was on her. Still, I felt like something wasn't right. I cursed Kobe for getting inside my head and making me wonder about Mila. I'm supposed to meet Kobe at 11. Do you want to come and watch me make a fool of myself? She gave a nod.
Yeah, it's not like I got anything else going on.
Did she miss her old life? Maybe life here was not enough for her. Hostessing at a barely functioning restaurant probably wasn't her life's ambition. Are you okay? I asked, noticing she still didn't take a drink of the coffee.
Yeah, just trying to wake up.
Okay. I'm going to get ready if you don't need the bathroom right now. She shook her head.
Take your time.
I stood and then paused. If you're worried about money, I will pay you back. Kobe already owes me $200 and I plan on getting another $200 today. And I have some tips.
I'm not worried about money.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, I don't want you to feel like you're stuck with a deadbeat.
I never once thought that.
And you'll tell me if you ever start feeling like that, right?
I will.
I gave a nod and left it at that. Perhaps she really just needed coffee as she had said. But then why wasn't she drinking it? Instead of dwelling on it further, I headed to the bathroom. By the time I was changed and feeling a little more awake and like a functioning human, it was a reasonable hour to text Lily. How are you and your dad? Do you need anything? As I waited for her reply, I looked at the review site to do a little investigative work on Gershwin. Seems he liked to give a lot of bad reviews. In fact, nearly every review I opened was a scathing report of horrible food and dismal service. Except one. He absolutely loved one restaurant above all others. He raved about the balance of delicate and bold flavors. He swooned about the stellar service and exquisite wine selection. And he gushed about the chef who was a goddess of the culinary world, in his humble estimation. Aunt Dot would disagree with him on that point, because the chef the reviewer was so besotted with was Avery. It was her restaurant that got the glowing 5 chef hats review. I wasn't sure what to do with the information except to file it in the curious category to process later. The reviewer wasn't wrong about Avery's food. She was quite amazing, and her food was top-notch. But some of the other restaurants he dinged were just as good. What was it about Avery's restaurant that proved better than all the rest? Maybe it wasn't the food at all. Maybe the reviewer had a little crush on the chef. Either way, I jotted down the restaurants he reviewed. When I had more time later, I'd look at the restaurants that had fallen victim to the pyro and see if his list matched the arson reports. It was a long shot, but the guy irked me. I glanced at my phone as a text came through. It was Lily.
We are fine. Thank you for asking. We're still waiting on reports and insurance. I have a feeling this might be a long process.
Do you have a place to stay?
We're staying at my uncle's place for now. There wasn't too much damage to our apartment, so we might be able to move back in. We're waiting for someone to tell us if the structure is safe.
Let me know if I can help at all. And if you need work, we're down a chef.
Did Dot scare off another one?
No. This time it was Dot who has been driven away. She met her match with Avery.
Wow. Why don't I stop in later? I'm sure I can help as long as Avery doesn't mind going through the recipes with me.
Perfect. Just text me when you're coming and I'll meet you there. Just not at 11. I have to meet Kobe then.
I heard about your cannoli challenge.
I grimaced at the phone. Who told you?
Landon.
Lan? How did he know?
He's still staying with Nana Nina, remember?
Kobe must have shared the video with Nana. Family news never traveled so fast as when someone did something stupid and there was proof. And just how long was Landon going to stay with Nana? I wondered if he was milking his stay there. I'd have to go over to visit and see just what was going on. Because no mid-20-something guy wants to hang out at a senior living community. active or not.